Hi there, I'm Reverend Carol, and I'm going to be bringing your Sunday lesson to you, or Sunday story to you today. And today we'll be talking about peace, and specifically about one of the world's greatest peace activists. And his name was Thich Nhat Hanh, and he was a Zen Buddhist, and his students called him Tay. So in our story, I'm going to call him Tay. It's just easier to pronounce. Now, he was born in North Vietnam, and at the time there was a war going on, and there was a lot of devastation. And he had this experience as a child and began this practice of mindfulness to help him maintain some peace within him. And what he found was that that practice also helped other people. So he spent his life teaching this mindfulness of peace so that it would radiate out into our world. And as many of you may be aware, we could use some of that peace right now. So I want to share with you some of the things that Tay would say. And one of them is, he says, the true miracle is not walking on water or walking in air, but simply walking on the earth. And he tells us that mindfulness is a kind of light that shines upon all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, all your actions, and all of your words. That mindfulness is the equivalent of the Holy Spirit, that energy of God within each one of us. And our affirmation that goes with this story is, I act with inner peace and fairness in all that I do. And I'm going to repeat that 2 more times, and I hope you join with me. I act with inner peace and fairness in all that I do. I act with inner peace and fairness in all that I do. All right, so here's the story of Thich Nhat Hanh, who I'll be referring to as Tay. So, Tay was born in North Vietnam. Now he's a Buddhist teacher, and his students call him Tay, which means teacher in Vietnamese. When Tay was about 7 years old, he saw a picture of the Buddha in a magazine. He thought the Buddha looked so peaceful and happy that he decided he wanted to become peaceful, just like the Buddha. One day, Tay's school class took a trip to the top of a nearby mountain where a hermit lived alone. He was eager to meet the hermit and learn from him how to be happy and peaceful like the Buddha. The day before the trip, he prepared for a picnic, rice balls with sesame seeds and peanuts. When they arrived at the mountain, Tay and his friends quickly climbed up and up until they finally came to a small hut. But to their disappointment, the hermit wasn't there. They looked all around, but couldn't find him. And the other boys were thirsty and hungry, so they headed back down the mountain to have lunch. Tay was tired and very thirsty too, but he didn't want to give up, and he kept looking for the hermit. Then off in the distance, he heard the sound of water. Oh, it was lovely, like the sound of tinkling music. He followed the sound and soon discovered a pool of cool, clear water coming out of a natural well in the rocks. He scooped up the water in his hands and drank. Oh, it was so delicious. As he relaxed next to the well, he felt so happy and contented that he didn't even mind that he hadn't found the hermit. And then he had a thought. Maybe the hermit had magically transformed himself into the cool, fresh water. Tay was calm, peaceful, and happy inside, just like the Buddha. Tay has written about that day on the mountain, saying, "I met my hermit in the form of a well. The image of the well and the sound of the dripping water are still alive in me today. You too may have met your hermit, perhaps not as a well, but as something else equally marvelous. Perhaps it was a rock, a tree, a star, or a beautiful sunset. And the hermit is the Buddha inside of you. Maybe you haven't met your hermit yet, but if you look deeply, your hermit will be revealed to you. It is inside of you. In fact, all the wonderful things that you're looking for, happiness, peace, and joy, can be found inside of you. You do not need to look anywhere else." When Tay was 16, he joined a monastery and lived with others who wanted to practice mindfulness and find peace inside themselves. Although he had a peaceful life at the monastery, his country was at war. He watched many people suffering and he wanted to help. He organized groups of young people to rebuild villages and help the injured. He encouraged people to find peaceful solutions to their differences. He even came all the way to the United States to talk about the importance of peace. But many people in Vietnam wanted the war to continue. They declared, "We want to fight until the end." And they didn't like Tay encouraging others to become peaceful. And when he tried to return to Vietnam, the government wouldn't let him. He no longer had a home. He was angry, sad, and worried. He said, "I was like a bee taken out of the beehive." Every night he dreamed he was home in Vietnam, but when he woke up, he wasn't there. So he used the practice of mindfulness to get in touch with the trees and the birds and the flowers, the children and the people wherever he was. He discovered that he was at home no matter where he was living. Tay continued to work for peace. Eventually the war in his country ended, but he wasn't allowed to visit his home for 39 years. In the meantime, he started a community in France called Plum Village, which is where he lived for the rest of his life. Plum Village is a place for people to come to practice peace, meditation, and mindfulness. Now, at Plum Village, there lived a little girl named Tui with her father. And she was only 4.5 years old. And when her father had to go to the city to find work, Tay took care of her. Tui and Tay agreed that when it was time for him to do his sitting meditations, she would brush her teeth, put on her pajamas, and go to bed. For many days, they followed this nightly routine. Tay meditated, and Tui slept quietly. On a hot afternoon, Tui came in from playing outside. She was very thirsty, so Tay poured her some cold apple juice. Because the juice had just been freshly pressed, there was a lot of apple pulp floating in the glass. Tui refused to drink it because it was cloudy. She pouted and went back outside. Tay left the glass of juice on the table. After an hour had passed, Tui came back inside thirstier than ever. Tay pointed to the apple juice sitting on the table. She picked it up and eagerly drank half of it. "Is this a different glass?" she asked. "No," Tay said. "It's the same glass. It has been sitting quietly for a bit now, and it's clear and delicious." Dewey looked at the glass and asked, "Was it meditating like you?" And Tay replied, "Let's say that I imitate apple juice when I sit and meditate." Now, when he taught meditation, he explained that we should just let our thoughts settle to the bottom of our minds so that we become clear, just as the pulp from the apple juice settled out in the glass, leaving the juice clear. So, do you sometimes feel like your mind is just filled with lots of thoughts all floating around at the same time? Yeah, me too. Have you ever felt really peaceful and happy on the inside? Where were you when you felt that? So when you feel calmness on the inside, how do you act on the outside? And how do you treat others when you're feeling loving, calm, and peaceful? Can you be as still as an apple? Can your busy mind be as quiet as a pebble? So let's say our affirmation one more time. I act with inner peace and fairness in all I do. I hope you enjoyed the story on Thich Nhat Hanh, also known as Tay. You know, things are getting better here in Austin, and if they continue on, we are hoping in the next couple of months that we'll be able to open up our Sunday school rooms and have you come back and join us. We sure do miss you. So with that, I'm going to close with our blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Have a wonderful day.